Malott, and I'm here with San Jose State University. I've been involved with passenger rail projects for the last 10 years, starting out with streetcars, and then I got involved with high-speed rail around 2018. The Cascadia Rail Project, which is located in the Pacific Northwest of the USA, is a fascinating project. It is a high-speed rail line that would connect Vancouver, British Columbia to Seattle, Washington to Portland, Oregon. The whole system would span about 300 miles, and it would take those travel times down to a third of what they currently are today. The vision for the Cascadia High-Speed Rail Project is to condense travel times between Seattle, Washington and Vancouver, British Columbia to 1 hour or less, and from Seattle to Portland, Oregon to 1 hour or less. The current travel times between each of those cities is about 3.5 to 4 hours, and that depends both if you're going by car or if you're going by the current Amtrak train. So looking to be able to move people faster in between those cities, and it would also help reduce congestion and improve sustainability for the region. The Cascadia mega region is looking to grow by about 2 to 3 million people by the year 2050. So we're looking at substantial growth, and our current growth plans have not accommodated for about 1 million of those people. So we're looking for a big game-changing solution to help people move around, connect them to jobs, and connect them to affordable housing. I think one of the biggest challenges with the Cascadia High-Speed Rail Project is planning a system that crosses an international border, as well as coming up with who's going to be involved in making the decisions between two states and a province. So having different levels of government and having an international line as well is going to be the biggest challenge to figure out who needs to be involved in those decision making. As far as funding goes, that's something that we're still early on in the project, so there's lots of opportunity for funding, whether that's looking at and getting private companies involved as well as applying for federal grants. The Cascadia High-Speed Rail Project has the potential to reduce carbon emissions by 6 million metric tons, which is huge. Helping people get out of cars and have better choices for transportation between intercity routes is what high-speed rail is all about. And it would also help reduce the amount of flights between Seattle and Portland and Seattle and Vancouver. Currently, there's roughly about 30 flights a day between each of those cities, so giving people the choice to be able to take the train and have that same journey time is really important to our region. The Cascadia High-Speed Rail Project is expected to bring in $355 billion in economic growth, and that's huge. That's something that would be spread throughout the region, both with job creation in the construction industry, roughly 200,000 jobs created in building the high-speed rail network, as well as another 800,000 jobs that would be produced outside of that rail industry. So that could be jobs through development or through new opportunities with existing business. So the Cascadia High-Speed Rail Project has been an idea since the early 1990s, but it was revived by Governor Jay Inslee of Washington State and supported by the Premier of British Columbia. Since then, we've also had a lot of great support from the Governor of Oregon, as well as our federal delegates, and Microsoft has also become a great partner as well. They've been contributing about 25% of the cost for the initial planning studies, whereas the two states and the province would contribute the rest of that funding. So we've had a lot of great momentum and political support from our leaders, starting with our state representatives as well as our federal delegation as well. The high-speed rail project would help get people out of cars and choosing a different mode of transportation other than aircraft for intercity travel. It's something where you can combine itineraries if you're doing a long-distance trip into Seattle and then, say, taking to choose the train between Portland and Oregon instead of flying that last segment. Being able to give people the choice to basically come to an airport or go between cities in our regions with high-speed rail allows them to make a more sustainable choice in what's best for them. having a great network plan so that it's convenient to use existing local transit like our light rail system or our bus system to get to the high-speed rail stations is what's key in making this a green and sustainable future for us. One of my favorite high-speed rail networks that's currently operating is Spain. I had an opportunity last year to take a 1,500 kilometer journey across the country, try out some of the different segments. So I started in Madrid to Sevilla, had stopped off in Cordoba, had stopped off in Malaga and Granada as well, and then lastly had went from Sevilla to Barcelona. So got to cover the whole span of the country, and I was greatly impressed with the system. The network planning is really what made the difference in making it easy connections from center stations, from center cities, to be able to reach each of these destinations. There were great frequencies. The comfort of the train was wonderful. It was very smooth, beautiful design. It was clean. It got me to where I needed to be, and it was very easy to use as far as transferring from local transport to the high-speed network. So it was a very seamless experience, and I would recommend anyone who wants to check out an awesome system abroad to go check out the Spanish system. Another thing that I admire about the Spanish high-speed rail network is that it's very similar to some of the needs that we have in the United States. So when Spain decided to build their high-speed rail network, they were having capacity issues because the freight traffic and the passenger rail traffic both shared the same line, and the line was getting full. And it's the same situation in the United States, where we have both a shared use line for freight and passenger rail, and we're experiencing delays with the passenger rail or growth constraints with the passenger rail because of that shared use. So being able to separate the lines and have a dedicated line for passenger trains that can serve passengers at high speed is key, and it's fantastic to see how Spain has done that. Their system got started in the early 1990s, so it's about 30 years old, and it's one of those newer, but it's also been around for a couple decades, so it's had that chance to grow, and we can look back and say, here's how the first segment was successful from Madrid to Sevilla, and here are the expansions that have grown since then. And I think it's very necessary to take a look at that and see how we can use examples from that for the United States. High-speed rail, the right speed for our planet, it means a couple of things to me. It means that we need to be mindful of the time that we have, and we need to be acting quickly in order to make these sustainable solutions a reality. High-speed rail has the potential to be a game changer as far as meeting our climate goals, and that is applicable to anywhere in the world, and specifically in Cascadia as well. I think that being able to have the choice for people to choose taking the train over driving or flying is going to make a huge difference in meeting those goals, since the transportation sector currently, without high-speed rail, is one of the highest producers of the emissions as we know it. Connectivity and network planning are among the top things I look for when I'm taking a high-speed rail journey. Can I get to the high-speed rail station via local transit? Can I walk to the station? Are there going to be frequent times that the train is departing? Is the schedule going to fit where I need to go? And really making those seamless connections. I can't understate enough, I can't say enough that we have to be able to connect people to those destinations and to the existing local transportation network so that it's easy for people to choose the train, making it simple. Other than network planning, I look for basically the convenience and the wayfinding. Once I get there, can I get to the train? Can I find the signboard? Can I navigate the station well? And it's these little things that are user experience that really make a great deal of a difference, whether you're somebody who loves trains and rides trains often, or if you're a first-time passenger.